Hello and welcome to the Storyboard Show. I'm John Gilbert.
And I'm Ian Thompson.
And today we're going to do something a little different. We are jumping on the Game of Thrones bandwagon and we are going to be asking the question, what can Game of Thrones teach us about business? So we've got 4 tips that we want to say that we've picked up from this epic show. So firstly, Ian, what have you derived from the programme?
What have I derived? Well, we've seen almost all of Game of Thrones, and I think one of the big things we can think about is to pick your battles.
Okay.
I think you need to plan ahead. I think you need to pick your battles. We've seen in Game of Thrones, there's constantly a war going on, but there's very few battles. It's all very strategic. It's all very, it's planning ahead to know when to pounce.
Yeah, so you need to know, I'm not just going to go and take that tower or surprise attack up the river run.
Yeah.
You've really got to have a purpose behind that to make sure that it fits in with your strategy. So don't just jump into your battles.
Exactly. We're trying to do this without spoilers as well, by the way.
Yes, and I think we'll probably achieve it.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully so.
The second point of learning from Game of Thrones was?
The second point is all about diplomacy, I think. If we look at someone like Tyrion, who saves a lot of lives, saves a lot of battles, and he's really the guy in the ear of pretty much everyone throughout the show.
Yeah, the moral compass of Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Who's honed his trade with his earlier exploits with the prostitutes.
With prostitutes,
of King's Landing. But in these communication skills have been used at a kind of like a strategic level.
University of life, you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the third lesson that we've learned in business from Game of Thrones
The third lesson I think that we've learned in business from Game of Thrones is if you want to jump in bed with a sister company, let's say, then beware.
Yeah, because jumping in bed with a sister company is not a decision to be taken lightly.
Exactly, it's not always something that
people expect you to do or feel that you should be doing. But when you know it's the right thing,
then you give your right hand for it.
Absolutely. And the fourth lesson that we've learned from Game of Thrones that can be applied to business is quite simply, don't run out of money. If you look at any of the characters within Game of Thrones who don't have much money, they will not be in the next episode because poor people tend to come to a deadly demise. So therefore, the message of capitalism and making sure you keep your cash flow good and grow your business more than keeps your head above water. So
I think those are our top tips of how Game of Thrones can. We really should write a book about this. It's been gold.
I mean, it's just pure gold, and that's it really. So for anybody that's not been watching Game of Thrones because it's got a dragon in it, remember, give it a try. There's not just a fantasy action series. It's a serious business program with many depths and many lessons that you can learn.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and that's been a spoiler-free business lessons of Game of Thrones. Thank you for watching.
See you again.